All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in to the We the Collective Fitness Podcast, or WTCF. This week, I wanted to spend some time talking about meal prep and how it can be really beneficial and nice without it being super, super boring. So, a lot of times we'll take something like meal prep and think that, all right, I'm going to have chicken, broccoli, rice every single day. I'm just going to throw it in these containers. I'm going to have it for lunch every single day. We're not too far off, but we can actually have a lot more fun with that process. So, what I actually like to do is I'll start like the day before by doing something very, very simple. So, I'll take something like a bunch of chicken that I have and I'll brine it. Basically, just let it sit in salted water. I actually like to use pickle juice, and that's kind of what they do over at Chick-fil-A. So, I'll take that approach and start with something like that. And then when I have a chance to go cook it, I can put it in a slow cooker and just let it sit there forever. And usually I'll keep it really bland after that. So if I do want to change things up, I definitely give myself some more out. So if I want to go ahead and have shredded chicken tacos, I can then take that chicken, shred it, mix cumin, mix sazon, mix a bunch of other like Mexican spices with it, and then I'll be able to have that set. Or if I wanted to take a different approach and make something completely different, let's say I want to have chicken and waffles, and I want to go ahead and have a bit of some sweet with there. So I might kind of add some like maple flavorings of, or I'll add in like hot sauce, and kind of make those things very specific. So what I'll end up doing is I'll cook a bunch of stuff, leave it as bland as I can, and then when it's time to go ahead and eat, I'll go ahead and just kind of flip those because I can turn that into a meal in about 10 minutes. Like honestly, you take that with half a bag of vegetables in the microwave or in the air fryer, an easy carb source, and you're done. So, like on the carb source, what I like to do is either have like a ton of rice on hand because rice is, you can use it in tons of different dishes, whether it's, again, trying to take that, mixing it with some things to make like a Spanish rice, or I can use that in terms of making egg and cheese like muffins with it. I can just have it as rice because rice is good. So it just gives me a bunch of different options where I don't feel like I have to have like the same thing every single time. So I'll have a bunch of rice going all at once, or I'll make like a big thing of pasta and kind of push it off to the side. So I just have these things ready because then it doesn't have to be this extra burden of me saying, well, I'm hungry and it's going to take 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour to go ahead and get something put together. Now the excuse is, all right, if you have 15 minutes, you can go from start to finish with these things already pre-made, or you can portion some of these other ones out to make sure that you're getting the right calorie basis for what you need. So I'll do that a whole lot. And I do have some other notes here of like how I go ahead and approach it. And I do have a supplemental video to go ahead and actually show me going through the process of doing some of this cooking. I will say that I was cooking for about 2 hours or so, but in reality, it was because I was actually having a good time with it. I was enjoying the process of what I was doing. So I just continued to keep going. So I made like banana oatmeal cookies and oatmeal bread, or yeah, oatmeal bread, like an oatmeal banana bread, and just kept going because it felt like the fun thing to go ahead and do with my time. So it probably took me about 45 minutes of any actual work. And basically, some of that was just me waiting on the slow cooker to go ahead and get up the temperature and getting that chicken to cook through. So I'll get that all prepped up. So what I'll go ahead and also do is I'll start prepping a bunch of vegetables. So whether that's like kind of portioning out like one of the freezer bags worth of it, or chopping and prepping some of the other vegetables that are already in the fridge. Sometimes I'll go buy lettuce and shred it because again, buying shredded lettuce is more expensive, and running a knife through it isn't the hardest thing in the world. So I'll like take it and I'll shred some of it down, or I'll take like the thing of spinach and I'll cook a bunch of that down, and then I just have cooked spinach to add into other dishes that it's really, really easy and straightforward to go ahead and mix in. So again, keeping it really easy and streamlined. So you don't need tons and tons of different ingredients. You just need a fair amount of spice to go ahead and change it up to your palate preference. One of the other things that I like to go ahead and think it through is basically getting everything pre-seasoned, preset, pre-ready to go, and then freezing some of it. So as I go through the week, I can go ahead and have a bunch of stuff that's already done. So like something like ground meat. So I'll have like ground chicken or like ground turkey or ground beef, something like that. And I'll just have a tub of it pre-cooked. So again, if I wanted to go ahead and make sloppy joes, I'm 2 steps away. Like I take some like hamburger buns out of the freezer. I throw them in the air fryer for 2 minutes. I warm up the ground meat for 2, 3 minutes. So as that's kind of going, I can do those simultaneously. Pour in some barbecue sauce or make it, right? Pour a little honey and a little bit of like ketchup, little seasonings here and there to kind of go ahead and get it to a good spot. And I can get a meal ready in less than 10 minutes, which is really, really important for me because my time frames are incredibly tight most of the time. So most of my days will start up at 4 a.m. and they don't usually end until about like 8 o'clock or so at night. So it doesn't give me a ton of time. So when I find those little windows, or like when I'm working remotely during lunch, like instead of just sitting there and just kind of eating lunch and taking a break, I will just start prepping a bunch of pots and pans and getting all that other stuff going. So I'll have food that's set up for the rest of the week. So I just look for that window of like, all right, I got like 45 minutes. How far can I cook everything that I possibly can? So I have it ready. And then no, not to go overboard. So I have stuff that I end up throwing out, right? I don't want to have a bunch of stuff cooked that I could have left frozen and I could have, made in a couple of extra days and then it would have had better longevity. So it's really, really just important to make sure that you allot yourself just a little bit of time to do some of those other prepping things. And you'll realize how easy it is to really cook. Browning meat is not hard. Chopping vegetables is not hard. Boiling pasta, boiling rice, not hard. So these are really simple, straightforward things. Like from there, you can use any of that extra time. Let's say you do have more time to go ahead and do it. Then you can start to experiment. Like, how do you go ahead and develop, new marinades or sauces? Or how do you go ahead and switch up a brine for a different scenario? Or how do you go ahead and do something maybe a little bit fancier? And who says you ever have to? So I wanted to make sure that this stayed like really short and sweet. I do have a supplement video to kind of show what I was working on, so you can kind of see what I was doing during that time frame. And once I edit this all together, you might see me dress differently because I'll probably go ahead and put one more take in here just to make sure I'm not missing anything else. So here, we're going to cut to myself yesterday.
All right, hey everybody. This is just the quick run through of what I kind of have going all at once. So this is how I kind of meal prep. I actually have a moment where I can kind of take a breath. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. Over on the stove, I just got a bunch of macaroni going. So I have the full box just ripping and roaring. I ended up with 2 rice cookers, so figured just might as well get as much rice. I can come up with breakfast recipes, lunch, dinner, and then I just got a bunch of chicken that's already set up. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thrown into the slow cooker, and basically that's gonna be the big chunk. So I'm just starting with ingredients and then I work from there. All right, I've been cooking for probably about a half hour, maybe 45 minutes, and I was able to come up with this so far. That pasta turned into mac and cheese. I stored all the rice that I had, a couple extra containers. So I got all my other containers kind of sitting out. Then I have a bunch of ground chicken. For myself, I usually recommend having just like a ground lean protein source that's just ready to go all the time. So this is just seasoned with like garlic, onion, I don't know, I'm guessing some poultry seasoning. I honestly, you just start grabbing and going. So you just kind of have fun with it. One last thing. And the chicken is just starting to look like it's doing something. There's not a lot of water in it, but again, it's only been going for about a half hour, so I'm not expecting a lot. All right, we're back after about 90 minutes, and I've kind of prepped myself up for the week and just wanted to show it really quick. So in this first one that's already done, it has that mac and cheese that I was putting together, just frozen vegetables, and then some of that ground chicken with some spinach I had found. The chicken then got split up for the rest of the week, so each one of these would get its own sauce, so I can kind of change those up. It's all kind of seasoned nice and even down the middle, but it's still juicy, still tastes like really good chicken. I took that rice and then repurposed a few things into these cheese, like egg white bites, which is really good. And then I spent some time making some oatmeal cookies. So there's some banana in there, and that was actually left over because I started making banana bread when I had some old bananas. One last thing, and that's all of it. I'm done cooking. So I went back over to the reduction that was coming from the slow cooker, and there's a ton of good liquid in here that's got a flavor. So I went ahead and just added a bunch of like rice and one of those other pieces of chicken that just kind of shred up. So I can kind of pull the vegetables out, and I'm gonna have some kind of like rice and chicken kind of left over. So, I'm gonna save a little bit. So again, like the whole process was about 90 minutes from beginning to end. And I sat down for a good like 20 of it. Like I didn't do anything. Like everything was just running. I was just kind of waiting. So when you start to think about the time management, or just kind of say, maybe I'll get one ingredient done. Maybe this week I don't want to think about it. I'm just going to have ground beef or chicken breast already prepped, ready to go. So I can grab and go and make it super healthy to myself. Things that I want to go ahead and eat. And it's going to be cheaper and probably have better shit in it than you normally eat. So good luck. So it's not all about just having like the same meal over and over and over again. The dishes themselves aren't seasoned over the top or anything like that. They're seasoned very white. So they're going to be just fine. They're going to have their salt, their pepper in there, but garlic, onion, some of those really recognizable ones. So if I do want to change it over to something like, man, you know what? I do want to make like chicken tacos tonight. I can easily add cumin and add, anything else that I need from there, some limes or whatever else. I can go ahead and spice that up the right direction. Some sazon or maybe a little extra cayenne, some other pepper. So you start to kind of build little things from there. Or let's just say I was thinking more, you know what, I want something like a chicken parm. Well, I can take this chicken out of here once it's all said and done, bread it another day, flash fry it super quick in the air fryer, and bam, I got a piece of chicken that I can do chicken parm with. Pour a little sauce on top and you're ready to go. So just gives you a ton of options to make sure you can do it really, really quick and just get on to other things, right? This can become anything. Just help it along. Just get it started. Good luck.